Okay, so on this next video, I'm going to start out with just a little update on my T.albopilosus that got stuck in his molt. And then I think I have a couple other little miscellaneous things with the tarantulas, but then I got some new, I got an order in from Simply Spiders. So I am going to do all of the unboxing and rehouses with those. And then I had a couple other rehouses that I had to do. So that's what's going to be in this video.
Okay, so I'm going to do a little update. Well, I don't think I did anything on him because I didn't know what was going to happen. But this is my T.albopilosus, or pilosus, however you pronounce it. And there's another spider in his. Anyway, on his last molt, I noticed he got stuck in the molt, and my daughter and I spent 2 hours basically peeling molt off of his legs, and even with that, his legs are paralyzed. He can twitch, but if you can see, his legs don't move correctly. I don't like to poke him too much. So basically what I'm doing is normally what I have is I keep him covered, because he did have a burrow underneath this blue thing. He had a burrow with the cork bark. And so basically what I'm doing is I am keeping him covered when I'm not feeding him. And then when I feed him, I turn him over on his back and drop food onto his mouth parts, and I'm feeding him ground up mealworms with some water, and that's what I'm feeding him. And then when I'm done feeding him, I turn him back over onto his belly, and then I keep the ground moist. I've got to add some water, and I'm getting ready to get his mealworms, and we're gonna feed him. So I'll come back and show that. All right, so I thought I would try to do this first because I would really like him to be able to eat a little bit better. So I've taken a roach and kind of mushed it up. I'm going to flip it over onto its underbelly. I'm going to see, because last time when I put food, he did like attempt to grab it with his mouth parts, with his fangs. It looks like he is trying to eat it with his mouth parts. His mouth parts do work. The only thing that was stuck in the molt was his legs. Everything else had come out. So I'm going to give him a few minutes with this roach to see if he'll start to eat it and start to break it down. If he does, then that would be better, because he'll get way more nutrients with a roach than with me just putting mealworms on his mouth, like crushed up mealworms on his mouth parts. So I'm hoping that's what he'll do. All right, I did see him working his mouth parts a little bit. He obviously has got his fangs on it, and so I think that's probably going to work really well. He was really hungry, and so I'm really hoping that that's going to work. We might try this. It'll be so much easier to feed him if I can just like crush him up some roaches, because I won't have to stress him out so bad by flipping him, because every time I have to flip him, that stresses him way out, and I'd really rather not do that. So for right this second, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put his cork bark back. I'm going to give him the opportunity to kind of chew on this roach for a little bit and see if he does it. And then we'll go from there before I do the mealworms. Okay, so I was just going to show you, this one just molted not too long ago. This is my oh my god, C.Versicolor. I couldn't think for a second. Look how pretty. Look how pretty. You can see all the color coming through.
So pretty.
So I thought I'd show some of this interaction. So that's a mature male right there. I don't know about that one. I'm pretty sure it's a female. I don't think she's mature yet, so males usually mature way faster than the females, so it's highly unlikely that she's matured. She is bigger than he is, but it is highly unlikely that she's matured. But these two have been like just both kind of just hanging out together. There's, I don't know if I can see, can't see any more down in the burrow, but the burrow goes pretty deep, so you can't really see it. But that's the mature male. And then I'm pretty sure this is a female. I have been able to kind of look at pedipalps, and I am pretty sure it's a female. Anyway, they get along just fine, so we'll see.
Okay, so I got another order in from Simply Spiders. So back in January, I ordered me some Isopods from Dustin at Simply Spiders, and then we had some of that crazy weather and stuff like that, and so I told him just to wait off on shipping to me. And then he had a couple like lots that he was doing, special lots that he was doing. One of them had several different teas in it, and then another one had 10 hottie slings in it. And so I got both of those. But then with the weather, and then he ended up getting really sick. He had some tooth infections and got really sick. And so I had just messaged him and said, hey, like, I know all this stuff's going on with you and the weather and all that, so if you need to wait on shipping to me, just go ahead and wait on shipping. So then he got better, and then the weather's finally gotten better. So on Monday, he said, okay, I'm shipping your order out on Wednesday, but there was an issue with the hotties. Some of the hotties didn't survive their next molt very well, and so there's not as many of them as we thought we were going to have. And I had already told him that, you know, if he didn't have, you know, because it had been several weeks since I'd done the orders, and we couldn't really remember what was in the one lot. I couldn't remember what was in the one lot that I had got from him, and it had been several weeks, and he'd been sick and all that. So I was just like, whatever is, you know what I spent, so whatever you have, just send it to me. I don't really care what you send. You know, it doesn't really matter to me. So on Monday, he said, yeah, some of the hotties didn't survive very well, and so he was just going to put me together a really awesome mystery box. So we're going to find out what is in this mystery box, and then I've got to start doing rehouses. So let's open up the box and find out, shall we? I don't know if I can do this. I didn't cover up my address, so that's why I got my hand on it. So I think I'm going to pause it, open it up, and then we will see what's in it, because I really don't know what's in this. Okay, so if you've ever ordered from Simply Spiders, somebody's calling me. Let me just pause that. It's nobody that I care about. So if you've ever ordered from Simply Spiders and Dustin, they are fantastic. He always takes super good care of you and makes sure that you're super happy with your orders. So I'm really excited to see what we got. These should be the isopods. Yeah, it's the isopods in there. And I still gotta clean out the tank.
so I can put the isopods in it. I'm going to set that up as a bioactive. So I don't think that's not what these are. Hopefully he wrote down what these are. Powder orange isopods. So awesome. There's the isopods. Like I said, I have no idea. He said he was going to send me some hotties, but I have really no idea what he was sending me. So let's see. It looks like there's 2 hotties. A Morena. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't know what that one is. Can't read it. I'll have to look it up. I have to wait and get it out. It looks like it might be a Grammostola something. And let me see if I can read this other one. Oh, I think it's a, hold on. I'll set you here. Hopefully you'll be able to see. This is not a good, I don't have my phone set up because I wasn't really prepared for this yet. I was kind of waiting to get prepared. This isn't all right. This video will be ever so fantastic. Sorry, people. Here, I'm just gonna pause it for just a second. I'm gonna take this apart and I think, see if there's something else in here and see what else is in here. So then I'll come back. Okay, so this is a G species Cambodia blue. I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't know what it is. And then this one is a Vietnam blue, which is awesome. So, and then we got the 2 Gdb Slings and the Marianne sling. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. So I am going to start getting things set up for these, and then we will do the rehouses on them. But yeah, Dustin at Simply Spiders always takes good care of us. Does, you know, he's awesome to work with. So if you ever want to order spiders, Simply Spiders is the way to go. Okay, so I'm back. My light stopped working, but I have a couple of the rehouses to do along with these new tarantulas that I have to get rehoused. We're gonna start out with the hotties. So it's Ceropogus species hottie or purple earth tigers. They are native to Sumatra, and they are arboreal old worlds. They can be fast, and they do have a little bit of a potent venom. I'm going to try to get everything set up. And then I don't know how these guys are really. So what I'm probably going to try to do is, I think I'm going to take off the deal, and then I'm going to see what happens about maybe just pushing it down. I know these guys can be extremely fast, so I am going to just see if they look like they're going to be crazy and try to like bolt and get out of things. I don't want these to end up climbing my tongs, and I don't want them to end up like to get out of my little setup here, because I don't want to mess with them. They are rather tiny, so I did do some smaller setups for them. So from what I read, they will kind of hide behind the log and create a little area behind the log. So this is just a little bit substrate with some height because they are arboreal, but then it is set up because a lot of arboreal slings like to kind of dig a little bit sometimes, or they'll stay down towards the bottom a little bit. So we've kind of got that set up for them to do that. We're just going to see. I'm hoping he doesn't decide to just kind of, okay, so he's staying put. So what I'm going to try to do is get this down like that. And I'm hoping maybe if I just hold on to the dill with the tongs, and I can keep this down in here, I can kind of push this other one a little bit and get him to just kind of holding on with the tongs and pushing at the same time is difficult because these tongs don't want to grip. But I don't want to put my hands too close because I don't want him to bolt out and bolt back up, because I've had that happen. I'm trying to watch for him. Okay, there he is. He's starting to come out a little bit. So now let's see if I can get a hold of this with the tongs. That way, if he starts to bolt up, I can try to drop the tongs before he makes it to my hand. Problem is I can't hold on to this thing with these tongs. It doesn't want to grip. Tongs don't want to hold. Even these tongs that hold tighter don't want to hold. All right, he is out and in there. They are photosensitive. He is in there. I don't know if you can see him. He's right there towards the end. Let me see if I can. Bad thing with this enclosure is you can't really make out through the enclosure too well, but I don't know if you can see. But he's right there. Hold on. Let me see. Can you see in there? I don't know if you can see, but I don't want to like mess around too much because I don't want him to decide to bolt out. So that's the first one. I did mark it on the bottom, which spider it was, because I screwed up one time, didn't mark it, and then I forgot. Now I don't know what that spider is. Okay, so we're going to try to do this the exact same way, and hopefully it goes just as easy. I'm trying to watch to make sure he's not coming out with the deal, because that's a problem. Okay. Now let's see. Trying to really watch to see if I can see the spider, which I don't see him yet. He's coming, he's coming, he's coming. There he is. Okay. So this one came out too. I'm going to try to very carefully lift it up so you can see. Hopefully you can see it in there. And we're going to put the lid on, and we have the hottie hotties both rehoused. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to rehouse one of the other ones that I need to rehouse. So I'll show you that rehouse. I have, it's my, oh my gosh, my brain, C.Versicolor. When I went to rehouse last time on the C.Versicolor, this particular one had just molted, and so I didn't end up rehousing him because it just molted, and I didn't want to bother him. And so now I'm going to go ahead and rehouse that one, and then I have think the other one that I really want to try to rehouse is that one that I had that got stuck in his molt. I think I just want to stick him into something a little bit smaller, because I know it's really hard for me to have him. He's really exposed, and I think it's really making him uncomfortable that he's so exposed. So I'm gonna try to rehouse him into something just a little bit smaller for right now until he has this next molt, which will help me keep moisture up in there for him and keep him a little bit happier. And then we'll go into rehousing one of the other new ones that I got. Okay, so I got this one set up now for the C.Versicolor. I forgot to write which one this one is. Okay, let me write that on the bottom of this real quick. I forgot. Okay. Hopefully you can see that okay. This one's a bigger spider. It's actually getting a better upgrade than the other one got, because the other one got a slightly smaller enclosure, but that's okay. This will be good for a little while. Hoping this guy's not on top of the lid. And it was on the lid. This one can be a little bit of a handful. You see it right there? So normally these guys get out constantly and they drive me crazy. I'm hoping that this slightly bigger enclosure is going to help that. And most likely I'm going to end up with the spider on my hand and I'm going to be chasing around, because these guys don't tend to do what you want them to do. You think you're going to do this and it's going to go in there. It's not. It's going to come either up this brush or it's going to go out and go somewhere else. Yeah. These little Versicolors. It's out. Okay. I do have it on the enclosure. We're going to try to get it to just come back up and go in. Now, see, it's on the top, but getting it to go back in, that's the issue. These guys always go for a little stroll. It's constant with these guys. And now it's on my brush. And now it's out. Okay, so we're going to try to they are a New World arboreal, so it's not really a big deal. I have had these guys on me before. I have had them climb on me before. It's not really that big of a deal if they climb on me, and you'd think if you just get like a little cup and cup them, that might work. It usually doesn't work. Oh, it's in there. It's in there. It's in there. Yay. We're going to put the lid on it. It is right there. I didn't clean all the sticky off, but it's right there. Checking out its new enclosure. See? All right. So now we're going to get the next new tarantula ready to rehouse. I think I'm going to look up and see what this A. Mariana is, and see what we need to do with that one. Okay, so I looked up what this one is. This is an Avicularia species. So it is an old world, or not old, it's a New World arboreal. So kind of like the Versicolor. The Versicolor used to be a Avicularia species, and they changed it. So yeah, it's
that same kind. This setup is going to be just it's probably going to be big for this, but the sides aren't super clear, so, and there's a lot of hiding spaces, so it should give it a little bit of space in here. It is a little bit big, so I'll have to be careful when I'm feeding to make sure that it finds the food, but I'm not so worried about this guy getting out and getting on me. Like the Versicolors, it's pretty laid back. So if it happens to get out and get on me, it's not a super big deal. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to just hold this. Bad thing is to figure out how to hold this where I can see and push it out. So when I did this with the Versicolors, when I first got the Versicolors, they went out and right up the straw. And I can already see this one's coming out. I'm hoping he'll just kind of say, oh, look, there's some tree to go on to. And it went out and straight down. Yes, this is an extremely small one. I can barely see it down there. So yes, this is an extremely small one. You probably can't see it at all. Maybe you can see it right down there in its little, in the thing, but so yes, this enclosure will be a little bit big for it, but it has places to hide, so it'll be all right. And it shouldn't be able to get out of any of these air holes. I'm pretty sure it's not going to. I'm going to watch it here for just a little bit. I don't think it should be able to get out of anything. These are all really small air holes, so I don't think it will be able to, but I can put this enclosure inside a, I can put some stuff over this enclosure. So I'm going to save this enclosure and probably put some, put this inside something so that way if it does get out of the air holes, it can't escape into the house. But I don't think it should be able to get out of the air holes. It looks like it's the same size as what my C.Versicolors were when I got them. So I think it should be okay, but we'll be cautious just in case. Okay, so our next rehouse are going to be my 2 Gdb Slings. They've been needing a rehouse for a while. You can see it right there. So if you don't know about GGBs, they are a New World terrestrial, but they act like semi-arboreal. They like to web a lot and they like to have a lot of web anchors. So I like to give them a little bit more height because they tend to not stay on the substrate very much. They do like it really bone dry in there, so I do a water dish. And then usually once they completely web it over, I just put some water on their web because they won't really mess with the water dish too much. In this little enclosure that I had, the tarantulas tend to stay over here, and then their water dish was over here, and they hardly ever would go to this side of the enclosure because they don't like it. So we're going to do the rehouses now. This one molted not too long ago, but it hasn't been, it's not a super fresh molt, so we should be okay. These guys can be fast, but they don't tend to be super aggressive usually. So I'm hoping that I can do this relatively simple. What I'm hoping to do is maybe just coax him into this and then kind of coax him back out of this. I'm going to try to get this to go down in here a little bit. So maybe he can get I'm going to try to get him to go. There we go. So this one is in there. I need to write down on here. Where did I put the lid? We'll write down on here which one this one was. This was number 1. So so a lot of these guys don't have names yet. I've decided not to name them until after they have been sexed out, male or female. I'm gonna go ahead and write on here which one this one is. This should be just number 2. These ones are pretty easy to tell what they are from their, so you don't really have to worry about it too much, but since I have 2 of them, I do write 1 and 2 on there so I know which ones are which. All right. This one is slightly bigger. These enclosures aren't a whole lot bigger, but they'll last for a little while. At least a couple molts. I don't know if I can do this one the same way. I'll switch this and see. This one's starting to get some of its adult colors. It's got a lot of blue on its legs. These guys can be fast and speedy. Okay, so I've got him down in there now. We're just gonna give him a little bit of a tap to go back down. He's giving me a little bit of a threat posture, but I'm poking him with, well, I'm not really poking him, but go on, all the way down. No, don't crawl back up. No crawling back up. Go on, back down. If you just take your time and do really gentle. And this one's in. There you go. So the only rehouse I have left is my T.albopilosus or pilosus that I'm going to put him just in this with cork bark hide because he can't really move any, but I'm gonna do these other 2 first before I do that one. I'm just gonna try to limit how much stress I put him under. Okay, so this next one that I'm gonna do is the Helibrachy species Vietnam Blue. So they are an Asian Old World fossorial. So, and I don't know how big this one is. I didn't want to open it up. These guys are extremely fast. They are very defensive, and they can get very, very nervous. So I don't know if this is going to be too big. I'm thinking that because it's in this vial, it might be a halfway decent size. So regardless, this will be plenty of space. It's small this way, but it's a lot of digging space. These guys are fossorial, so they do like to dig. So I am going to hope that this is going to work. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lid off. I'm going to put the enclosure down inside here, and I'm going to take the deal out, and I'm not messing with this spider. I'm hoping that he will just go out and go in here, and then what I'll do is once he's out and he's moved into his new home, I'll just pull this out, and we're making that super easy because yeah, I'm not messing around with one of these guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that. I'm going to put this the way I kind of want it. Find me my tongs. And I'm hoping he doesn't just bolt. Super hoping he doesn't just bolt. And that he just stays put. I don't know how to, can't tell how this thing, oh, he's right there. Okay, he's not facing me. He's facing the other direction. So I'll let you get a look. There he is. He's not too huge, but he's not too small either. So we're going to leave that like that. And we're just going to let him move out on his own. And we're not screwing around with him. That's it. That's all we're doing. So, and I will pull that out later and hopefully he'll go in there. This is just a little bit big for him, but considering his size, it's not a whole huge for him. And there's a nice deep little like burrow started right there. So it's going to be just fine. I will have to just make sure that when I'm feeding, I am careful about making sure he sees the food and he knows where the food's at, but there's not a big, unless he just digs straight to the bottom, there's not a whole lot of like spaces for him to worry about. These guys do like a lot of water, or a lot of moisture. They are a moist species. So I have the water dish in there and I've wet this whole side quite a bit. So to give them quite a bit of moisture, they are moisture dependent a little bit. So there they are. The next one that I'm going to rehouse is the, I think that says, I don't know if that says a G or C, Cambodia blue. This will be another old world. I don't know about this one either, so I'm gonna have to look it up too. So anyway, we'll be doing that one here in a few minutes. Okay, so we are going to do the last one, which is a Helibrachys species, Cambodia blue. See there. Again, I don't know how big this one is. This is another Helibrachys species, which is an Asian species from Cambodia. They are an old world fossorial, so they do like to dig. So again, I did this deep enclosure so that he has plenty of room to dig. I'm going to do the same thing I did with the last one. I'm going to take the lid off. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to stick it in here and let him move himself out, because again, these guys are extremely fast and extremely defensive and shy, and they don't like to be messed with. So I don't want to mess with him. I'm gonna try to do this down here the same way. I'm hoping he's not like right here at the top of the opening. I can see him in there, but I can't tell if he's looking at me or if he's looking away from me. Oh, no, he's looking right at me. I don't know if you can barely see him in there. That's as good as I'm gonna get. I think his butt's facing away from me. Oh no, his head's facing towards me. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna put this just like that and we're gonna let him move himself out. It's just the safest way to do it with these super fast guys. Makes it safe, makes it easy. You don't have to worry about one getting out, and then when they move out, you're good. All right, the last one I'm going to do is going to be my T.albopilosus that had the bad molt. I'm just moving him into this enclosure just because he needs it. This enclosure is would be way too small for him typically, and would not be the correct setup for him. But because he can't move and he has such a difficulty, he can just scooch around. It's just easier to move him in a way where it's not going to stress him out too much. I'm going to just pick him up with the tongs very, very carefully. I'm going to try to move him with my cork bark. See, he can't even, this is it. This is all he can do. So I'm just going to put him in here like this. I've moistened that up to give him enough so he can drink out of the substrate. I am trying to give him roaches, and he is taking them. He didn't really take the last roach that I gave him. No, he did. He did eat some of it. Not as much as he had eaten the first time, but he did eat some of it. So, he got stuck in his molt. All of his legs were stuck, and they had already hardened. So he can't use his legs. So what I'm desperately trying to do is just get him to his next molt. And as long as he's eating and trying, then that's what we're doing with him. But I'm going to put him in here like this, and then I propped up these cork barks on the side just so that way that this other cork bark doesn't lay on top of him, because he can't dig down and create a nice little burrow like he would normally do. So this just gives him a way to be covered and feel more secure and not feel so exposed, but at the same time give him, at the same time, make it a little bit easier to maintain his humidity. I need to keep the humidity in this tank in this enclosure way higher, just because he can't go to a water dish and drink. He can't move like he normally would move. So I just need to keep him as hydrated as possible. So I'm just going to put this cork bark like that. So it's just kind of like propped on these other two. So he feels more secure. If I show you, he is more secure because he's now more hidden, and he doesn't have to feel as exposed. Like in the other one, he was way more exposed. And so this just gives him a little bit more security and makes him a little bit more not as exposed. And then this enclosure, because it has less air holes in it, smaller air holes in it, it will actually hold that humidity a little bit better for him, which is a little bit more of what he needs. So that's all of the spiders to rehouse. I've got to clean out that fish tank so I can set up the bio enclosure for the isopods that I got. And so I'm going to go do that and set up that enclosure for the isopods. And then I will come back and you guys can see the isopods once I get them in their new enclosure. Okay, so I got the tank cleaned out that I'm going to use for the isopods, and I've got it set up bioactive, hoping that they're not going to eat all the plants. They shouldn't. I do got lots of leaves in there, and it moistened it down quite a bit. So I'm going to add them in. Try to make sure there's none on the lid. So I'm just going to add them all in here and let them kind of spread out and do their thing. Hopefully there's some springtails in there too. That would be awesome. Like, I need my springtail colonies kind of sad right now, so I might need to put I am going to put the lid back on this, but I might need to put some, I might need to put a piece of, I can't even think right now, plexiglass on top of it, but I'm hoping the lid will just work. I don't think these guys will be able to climb the glass. I'll just have to watch, but I don't think they can climb the glass, so I think we'll be okay if I just put the lid on, and they should do their thing. They said that I can feed them things like some veggies and stuff like that, so I'm sure I could feed them some of the same stuff that I feed the roaches and other things like that. These can be fed to some of the smaller spiders if I wanted to, but really what I'm going to be trying to do with this is use it for my bioactive enclosures to add to that. So there are the powder orange isopods. Okay, so I hope you guys liked that little video. I have some other things planned for the next couple videos. We have some more goats that we got in that I still have to show you. I showed you the last set of goats we got in, but we got some new ones that like 6 or 7 month old does, and then I think 2 older ones, and then there's a mama that has some babies on her. And then this weekend I am going to go pick up the Great Pyrenees puppies that I am getting that will hopefully be my guards. So that's kind of what's coming up. And then it's starting to get good weather, so there's going to be some work that's going to have to start happening around here. So some of that'll be happening, but for now, that'll be all for now. So please go hit the like button and comment something if you want to comment something. And if you haven't already subscribed, then hit the subscribe button. Thanks. Bye.